Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is June the 12th. 2 WNBA games on the board for today. No NBA games. Let's jump into them, man. Let's dive straight into them. Hopefully you guys are doing well and are finding some ways to make some money as well. Let's jump into it. So didn't do a show that was recorded for yesterday because I did it a tad bit early for the 4-game slate yesterday. So recapping not only yesterday, but day before yesterday as well, which was the 10th. NBA Finals game number 4 was absolutely bananas. I've not done a show since then, but we finished 2-0 on that game, and it was no way possible for it to happen, but it happened. Knicks team total under 109.5. They got there, still won the game like we talked about, and then full game under as well. I bet both of those was winners. In that same night, we had 2 WNBA games. It was Connecticut-Toronto. I told you guys I couldn't lay with Toronto, especially early, because Connecticut will kind of fumble as the game goes on. So Connecticut first half plus 4.5 was a winner. And then LA and also Aaliyah Edwards in that game as well, with Brittany Griner being rolled out. And who else was it? Somebody else that was rolled out. I can't remember who, but yeah, that was a absolute, like, Lacan over her assist. That was a great game. I hope people made some money on that game because I ended up not betting any of that because it started so early. And then the Sparks and the Storm, Seattle first half. Again, they've been doing really, really good in the first quarter for whatever reason, and I couldn't lay that many points with the Sparks. So that was also a winner. So it was a nice sweep on Wednesday night. And then as far as Thursday night goes, not as good. Not as good yesterday on the plays that I talked about. I know Aaliyah Edwards did get her double-double, which I talked about, which was plus 260, so that was good. But Chicago, Indiana, I expected that game to stay well underneath the total. And Chicago, really able to score the basketball. Indiana not playing much defense at all. A little bit of a letdown spot for them. Atlanta didn't get the job done. That game went over. I like the opposite of both. Phoenix, Dallas. I think Phoenix shot less than 22% from the three-point line. Dallas didn't shoot the ball well. Rike had 2 points on 1 for 9 shooting, so that went under the total. Alyssa Thomas only finished with 6 points. I liked her over 16.5, so it was not a good day. The Aces and the Fire also, they flew over the total, though, 172.5. I told you guys I like that in a nice bounce back spot. I had a couple systems on that. So not a profitable day overall yesterday on the short list, but let's jump into it for today. Hopefully you guys found some ways to make some money. And again, Wednesday was super profitable. So we'll start off with Jackson, your AI sports betting tool, linked in the description of the video. I went back to the master prompt that I've been using with Jackson, which is analyze today's WNBA slate to identify the highest value opportunities for point spreads and player props. For point spreads, highlight teams with a strong against the spread record when facing similar matchup variables such as rest advantage, home away splits, or recent offensive efficiency surges. For player props, focus on lines that show a significant discrepancy against recent 5-game rolling averages, tracking changes in usage rates due to injuries or favorable defensive matchups, specifically targeting exploitive matchups in points, rebounds, or assists. Please provide the data, underlying metrics, and reasoning for each recommendation. So if we look into this prompt, the first thing that comes up is Jackson likes the Toronto tempo tonight, and actually the line is flipped here, so I'm not sure if I guess you definitely like them because they're actually laying points in this spot. Just double check the line. Yeah, they're actually laying points in this, getting points in this spot, and I expect the line to come down. It looks like it's still about 2.5. It looks like down to 1.5 on a couple books, but Jackson likes Toronto minus the 2.5 here. So, line is flipped, but it says that the tempo entered this matchup riding the 2-game winning streak and sit at 7-5 on the season, while the Mystics have dropped 2 straight and sit at 4-6. The situational spot heavily favors Toronto as they're the hotter team with the momentum on their side. Washington has struggled at home this season with a 1-3 record, and their offensive efficiency has been inconsistent. The tempo's ability to push the pace and exploit a Mystics defense that has shown vulnerability against high volume scoring attacks makes the 2.5 line a strong value play. With Toronto's recent surge and Washington's home struggle, laying the small number in is the sharp move. And then player prop wise, Can't give you guys that one. So it talked about Kiki Iriafen over her 21.5 points. I don't think Kiki Iriafen is going to play, but we'll see what happens in that game. We'll talk about it in just a second. Let's go with Sonia Citron. So Sonia Citron over her 6.5 rebound assists and rebounds. So her RA line, it says that she has seen a significant surge in the 5-game rolling average, jumping to 7.2 rebounds and assists, nearly a full unit higher than tonight's line. She's cleared the 6.5 mark in 80% of her last 5 games, 70% of her last 10, while her one meeting against Toronto this season was a dud, just 2 rebounds and assists. Her recent form suggests that was an outlier. The Tempo's defense versus position ranks 14th, which is favorable for Citron to continue her recent hot streak. So at -102 on FanDuel, this is a strong value play. Kiki Iriafen over her rebounds and assists. I probably would just take her rebounds. I don't know how much I trust Washington's offense, even though this Tempo's defense is not good. All right, so let's jump into it for today. Those are the 2 looks for that I'll share with you guys for Jackson. But this prompt always returns at least like 3 player props, and most of the time at least 2 sides as well. So yeah, we'll leave it at that and get into the matchup. So first up is that Washington and Toronto game. And, a brief glance at the injury report, which I think is significant in this game, has Nair Sabally listed as game time decision. Kiki Rice continues to be out. This will be Toronto's first road game without her. And then Timmy Funk Bagley is supposed to make a return. She has not played in quite a while, but they'll need her, especially down low, if Nair Sabally isn't able to go. Izzy Harrison is back now. I think this will be her 3rd straight game since the injury. And then on the Washington side of things, man, Kiki Iriafen is listed as questionable. She rolled her ankle pretty badly at the early part of that game and did not return the other day when they were playing against Indy. So you got a Toronto team that has been a little bit better overall than this Washington Mystics team. I mean, you can see it in the graphics, right? Toronto is the 4th best offense, not the greatest defensive team at 12th. In the Washington Mystics, one of the worst teams in the W through their first 11 games, 12th in offensive rating, 10th in defensive rating, 11th in net rating. So Toronto has been the better team between the two, and Toronto has actually played well on the road. They're 4-1 ATS on the road. But the thing that pumps the brakes just a tad bit is they're coming off the overtime win against Connecticut, where they didn't cover, and off back-to-back wins and overtime win, and they were down 11 points to Connecticut at halftime. It makes it really, really difficult to want to trust them on the road. And then you also think about who their wins have come against. They won 2 in a row, but they came against Chicago, of course, and Connecticut. Like their last 2 games were against Chicago and Connecticut. They were at home for both. They've also won 4 of their last 5. But then looking deeper, who did they beat? They beat Seattle and they beat Chicago to go along with Chicago again in Connecticut. So they've beaten probably the worst 4 teams in the W. Nothing impressive at all. But then it's hard to lay points with the Mystics. So by default, it will be Toronto in this game because the Mystics just 1-3 straight up at home. Granted, they're 3-1 against the number, but you need them to win the game. And without Kiki Iriafen in there, like I just don't want to put my money on them. This is I think the youngest team in the WNBA. They got 2 players on their team that has more than 2 years of experience. I know it's the 2nd straight home game. I know that they're coming off back-to-back losses against Atlanta and Indiana. And the Indy game was crazy because they probably could have won that game. They lost 3 of their last 4. They did win the first matchup of the head-to-head matchup when these 2 teams played. That was actually the first game of the season in Toronto, where they were getting 2 points as a dog, and that game stayed well under the total that was 181.5 because the Washington offense is just that bad. So if this game comes down to it, I think you got more scoring on the Washington side of things. I'm sorry, on the Toronto side of things with Brittany Sykes and Marina Mabry, who's been really, really good from the 3-point line. If I'm playing player props, I think her 3-point prop, which we'll talk about in just a second, is also good. So Toronto, been able to score the basketball, not really that good defensively. They're 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games. So yeah, immediately looking at this line, I thought to myself, I can't lay with the Washington Mystics. Again, they've won just 1 of their 3 games when they've been in DC. When they've been a favorite this season, and that came against the Storm without Malunga. And then again, the tempo 3-3 straight up, 4-2 against the number when they've been getting points this season. And the Kiki Iriafen thing is really, really big in my opinion. I don't think that she's going to play, which will be, in my opinion, it'll be more minutes for Michelle Onyenwere, who played really, really good in that last game. Her player prop is like 8.5. I think that has some value as well, especially if you think you agree with me and Kiki Iriafen isn't going to play. Kiki averages 14.5 points and 9 boards. So it's a big loss for this Washington offense, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with Nair Sabally as well. I think Toronto plus the points is the right side. Just really wanting to stay away from this Washington offense that can just go super, super dry at any point in the game. So we transition over to Outlier. I just told you guys that if I'm looking at player props, and this one is good old Crash Out. Good old Marina Mabrey, man. Marina Crash Out Mabrey. If you guys were watching the last game, you know what I'm talking about with her and Diamond Miller. So if we go look at Marina Mabrey, we go look at her 3-point prop, we can see here that get my numbers up. Okay. So we can see here that Marina Mabrey is her 3-point prop, 2.5 is the number. Not super juiced yet. Again, you can look here and clearly see where you can get the best of the numbers. And for No Big, there is a link in the description honestly, it's a link in the description for all these. But Profit X, same thing, if you guys are interested in checking it out. So looking at Marina Mabrey, we come down here, we start to look at her minutes, which we know are solidified, right? She's a bona fide star in this Toronto offense. So 34 minutes, 30 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And then we look at her 3-point prop. She has not been shooting the ball well as of late. So just 2 of 6 here, 2 of 5 here, 1 of 5 here, I'm sorry. And then she did get 12 attempts. If Marina Mabrey is going to get 12 attempts up, I think that, she's absolutely going to be able to crush this. Not shooting the ball really, really well, 32%. And this is her last 10 games. If we go 2026, we can see that she's over in 3 of her last 5. Again, I think the temps will be there. On the opposite side of this is the Washington Mystic defense. They allow the 3rd most makes, the 5th most attempts, and they have the worst above the break 3 field goal percentage to the opponent on the season, 39%. So they give it up, and I think Marina Mabrey should be able to knock down the shots, in my opinion, here. So if I'm playing player props, it's definitely Marina Mabrey. On the other side of things, I kind of feel like, and I'm not going to go through it just because of time purposes, but on the other side of things, Michelle Onyenwere, I do think that she'll come in and her minutes have just been trending upward just overall, but they'll definitely continue to go up, and she'll be 24, 25 minutes, in my opinion, without Kiki Iriafen in, which I don't expect Kiki to play. So top 2 plays for me would be Marina Mabrey over her 2.5 threes, and then a look at Toronto plus the points in this game. All right. Hit the like if you can. Subscribe if you guys have not. Tell your friends about the show. Drop it in the group chat, and let's keep going. So next game up is Golden State. Last game, Golden State in Seattle. Quick glance at the injury report here. Nobody on the report for the Valkyries, and then just Izzy and Tamia on the report for the Seattle Storm. So if we look at this game, so the money has come in on the Seattle Storm. I'm sorry, on the Golden State Valkyries. It's open 7.5. And it doesn't surprise me much, but it's up to 9.5 on most books now. Golden State's been by far the better team, but they are just 2-3 straight up on the road this season. Bounce back win against the Phoenix Mercury 3 nights ago after dropping back-to-back games against the Aces and the Minnesota Lynx. And then on the Seattle side of things, they won 2 of their 7 games at home, but they've also lost 7 in a row. Outside of losing 7 in a row, though, I mentioned this in the last game against the Sparks, and they were able to get the job done as far as a cover. They've covered 3 of their last 4. And a large part of that has to do with, in my opinion, with Malunga being back in the lineup and then being able to kind of, slow things down and the defense, improving just a tad bit. I thought it would take her a couple games to kind of get her feet under her, and that's what we've seen so far. Golden State opened the season playing against Seattle, and that game was also in Seattle, and they won that game 91-80, and they were laying 5.5 in that game. So they were able to get the cover in that game. That game flew over the total at 156.5, and that's what I kind of want to focus on here is the total at 156.5. All of the numbers kind of tell me that this game could go under. You just look at, how poorly Seattle offense is. Both of these teams playing super slow. Seattle's 10th in pace. Golden State is 15th in pace. They're still one of the slowest paced teams, but their offense is really good. Third in offensive rating. They're of course the number one team in the 3-point shooting. You can see it in the bottom left corner as well in their shooting profile. And I kind of think that this game goes over, man. I feel like the total is a tad bit too low. Seattle team total is sitting at like 73.5. They average like closer to 78. And I looked at Golden State defense. They're giving up 80 on the road. So you just need this game to be played with pace. You just need Golden State to be able to knock down the threes, and you need Seattle to contribute a little bit as well. And they have recently. Seattle's actually played in back-to-back high-scoring games against the Aces, against the Sparks, which you could argue that both of those offenses are better than this Golden State Valkyries team. But both of those cleared 162.5 and 169.5. So I think there's a little bit of an over-adjustment here. I like the over in this game. Golden State, I think the team that goes over more than any other team. I know that they're 7-3 to the over so far in their last 10 games. And I just kind of feel like this total is a tad bit too low. 155.5, 156.5 screams a little bit too low for me. So if I'm betting this game, I do like it over the number. Didn't really look at it from a player prop perspective. Golden State's a team that, of course, again, they love to shoot a bunch of threes, but they have not. They have shot it well. This Seattle team, and this could be a tad bit scary, but Seattle's actually one of the top 3 defenses in the WNBA as far as taking away the 3-point line. I kind of think that the threes can fall tonight. And that's really what my main focus was. Seattle, like this point spread range is something that I want to lay with Golden State on the road. I do think, clearly they're the better team. So if that kind of made me isolate towards the total. And then really like the player prop thing is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me. So I didn't really look too deeply into it, and it wasn't anything that really jumped off the page to me either. So yes. I want to see what Seattle's offense looks like just a little bit more before I want to play, player props on the Seattle side of things, with Malunga being back in there and how, the offense kind of adjusts. But Seattle's been really good early in games as well. I think that's something to note. We talked about that. They've covered, I think, 3 straight games in the first half. Did they cover? I don't think they covered against Minnesota after getting blown out in the second half, but they started the game off really, really well. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. As far as full recap, let's go with the first game, Toronto plus the 2.5. And let me put this on the screen so you guys can see it. Toronto plus the 2.5. Marina crash out Mabry over her 2.5 3-point makes. And again, I do think that Kiki Iriefin won't play. So looking at Michelle Onyewede over 8.5, I think is also, a steal, especially early in the day. And then Golden State, Seattle over. Super tricky, but over 156.5 at the time of this recording. I think they get to 160 today. I really do. So only 2 games, broke them down best as I could. Hopefully that was helpful. Resources linked in the description as they always are. Jackson Outlier Moneyballer Odds Jam. We'll be back tomorrow for more WNBA. We got some spicy good games tomorrow in the W, and NBA Finals game number 5 on Monday. Yeah, I think it's on Monday, I think it's on Monday. So no basketball at all weekend for the guys, but try to get some money with the girls, man. Appreciate you all for tapping in. Y'all enjoy the Friday, enjoy the weekend, and I will catch you guys in the next one, man. Best of luck on your action tonight.